Regulatory assurance depends on evidence. In petroleum operations, procedures and intentions are not enough. The operator must be able to demonstrate what happened, what was tested, how the well performed, and how risks were managed. That is the key message here. Data supports compliance and regulatory confidence. Reliable records allow operational activity to become evidence of control.
The first source of evidence is the drilling report. It creates the operational record of the well by capturing drilling parameters, formation behavior, events, decisions, changes, and operational responses.
Its value is not simply that it documents activity. Its value is traceability. If a question later arises about how a condition was identified or managed, the report should show the sequence clearly.
So the report is not just a daily record, it becomes part of the assurance case. Exactly. When drilling conditions change, the regulator needs more than a statement that the situation was managed. The record should show the observed condition, the response taken, and whether the response was effective. That is particularly important for events such as lost circulation, stuck pipe, shale instability, or warning signs of a kick. These are operational issues, but they also raise regulatory questions about risk control. Correct. A rise in pit level, a change in pump pressure, restricted circulation, high torque, overpull, or loss of return should not remain isolated observations. They should be recorded, assessed, and connected to the control measures used at the time. The second evidence stream is pressure testing. In regulatory terms, what makes a pressure test meaningful?
A pressure test is meaningful when it demonstrates that a barrier or pressure-containing system can perform its intended function under defined conditions.
The result must be properly recorded, assessed, and retained. It should identify what was tested, the test pressure, the duration, the acceptance criteria, and whether the criteria were met.
A simple statement that the test was completed would not be enough. It would be weak assurance. Saying a barrier was tested is different from holding verifiable evidence that proves the barrier was tested appropriately and achieved the required result. This connects directly to well integrity. Pressure control depends on understanding the relationship between mud density, hydrostatic pressure, and formation pressure. But for this presentation, the regulatory point is the evidence. The operator must show that pressure risks were controlled. That leads naturally to integrity monitoring. A well cannot be treated as safe simply because it passed one test at one moment.
Precisely. Well, integrity is monitored across the life cycle. Pressure, barrier performance, fluid properties, and operational indicators all help identify changes before they become more serious problems. Monitoring also creates continuity. It links the initial evidence from testing with ongoing evidence from operation. And the monitoring data must be reliable enough to support decisions.
Yes.
Poor data creates weak assurance. Missing records create uncertainty. Inconsistent reporting makes trends difficult to identify. High-quality information supports better decisions by the operator, management, and regulator. The drilling fluid material also reinforces that point. Mud properties are monitored because they can indicate pressure control problems, formation damage, hole cleaning issues, erosion, or sensitive formations.
And from a regulatory perspective, those measurements are not just technical values. They are indicators of whether controls are functioning and whether emerging risks are being detected early. Incident reporting is the fourth major source of evidence. How should abnormal events be treated in this assurance model?
They should be treated as opportunities to verify whether controls were adequate. Reporting should record the event, the immediate response, the causes, the corrective actions, and whether those actions were completed and effective.
So, incident reporting is not only about notification. Correct. Notification is only one part. A strong reporting system turns an abnormal event into learning, accountability, and improvement. For example, lost circulation may involve loss of mud, loss of drilling time, reduced formation information, or even increased well control risk if the mud level drops. The record should show the severity, the response, and the remedial action. That makes the incident record part of the evidence trail. Exactly. It shows not only that something happened, but that the operator understood it, acted on it, and strengthened control where required. The footer message also points to protection of people, environment, assets, and compliance. Environmental records are central to that.
Yes. Drilling fluid and cuttings management must be supported by evidence showing that waste handling, treatment, discharge, reuse, and recycling decisions are controlled.
The objective is to protect human health, minimize toxicity risks, control environmental impact, and comply with applicable requirements. That means environmental assurance is also evidence-based. It is. Records of treatment, oil content, discharge conditions, pollution control equipment, and waste minimization all help demonstrate that environmental risks are managed systematically. The central cycle brings these elements together: collect, report, review, and improve.
First, collect reliable information. Then report it accurately and within the required time frame. Next, review it to identify trends, deviations, and emerging risks.
Finally, use those findings to improve controls and performance. That is the difference between static compliance and active assurance.
It also reframes paperwork. The objective is not to generate records for their own sake.
The objective is credible evidence of control. The key question is whether the operator can demonstrate with reliable evidence that the well is being operated safely and that identified risks remain under control. The message is clear. Drilling reports, pressure tests, integrity monitoring, incident reports, and environmental records work together to support compliance and regulatory confidence. Reliable data becomes evidence. Evidence creates confidence. Confidence supports safe, responsible, and compliant petroleum operations.